Losing a spouse is undeniably one of the most profound emotional experiences anyone can endure. The grief that follows is deeply personal, and it goes beyond the sorrow of loss. In addition to the emotional burden, there are practical challenges, decisions that, seemingly small, can have long-lasting effects. In the aftermath of such a loss, many people make choices driven by pain, loneliness, or pressure from others. While these decisions may feel necessary at the moment, they can lead to regret, financial hardship, or emotional setbacks that make the healing process more difficult. Grief does not come with a set timeline, and navigating this difficult journey requires thoughtful reflection. In this video, we will discuss 5 key things you should say no to after losing a spouse. These are common mistakes that many people make unknowingly, only to realize later that they weren't truly ready for these decisions. By understanding these pitfalls in advance, you can protect your emotional, financial, and physical well-being and move forward with clarity, dignity, and the support you deserve. Mistake 1. Making big financial decisions too soon. One of the most common mistakes people make after losing a spouse is rushing into major financial decisions. In the wake of grief, it's easy to feel that making immediate changes to finances, such as selling a house, moving to a new location, or making significant investments, will bring a sense of control or stability. But the reality is, grief can cloud judgment. Decisions made during this emotionally charged time may seem logical at first, but they can lead to regrets down the road. For many widows and widowers, there is often pressure from well-meaning friends, family members, or even financial advisors to make quick choices. Take, for example, the story of Margaret, a 74-year-old widow. After losing her husband, she was told by multiple people that downsizing her home would be a smart move. The idea made sense. Less space to maintain, lower expenses, and the possibility of a fresh start. Within a few months, Margaret sold the house they had lived in for 40 years and moved into a smaller apartment in a different town. But once the shock of her loss subsided, she realized she had made a decision out of panic. She missed her familiar surroundings, her neighbors, and the comfort that her old home provided. In hindsight, Margaret wished she had waited longer before making such a major change. When facing significant financial decisions, especially after a loss, it's crucial to take your time. The first year after losing a spouse should be about emotional stabilization, not financial risk-taking. Financial decisions made in haste rarely work out well in the long run. Instead of rushing, give yourself time to process your emotions and seek trusted professional advice before making irreversible choices. Mistake 2. Isolating yourself after the loss of a spouse. It's completely natural to want to retreat and be alone to process your grief. Solitude can feel like the only way to cope with such deep pain. However, while taking some time for yourself is important, completely isolating yourself from friends and family can actually make the healing process much more difficult. Many grieving individuals fall into the trap of withdrawing from their loved ones. They may tell themselves they just need more time to heal, or that others won't understand their grief. However, prolonged isolation can have severe consequences on both mental and physical health. Studies have shown that social isolation, especially after a loss, can lead to increased feelings of sadness and anxiety. It can also weaken the immune system, raise blood pressure, and in some cases, even shorten life expectancy. Take Walter, for example. After the death of his wife of 52 years, Walter stopped answering phone calls, skipped family gatherings, and rarely left the house. He told himself that being alone was easier and that no one could truly understand what he was going through. But over time, Walter's mental and physical health began to deteriorate. He felt more and more isolated, his energy levels dropped, and his appetite decreased. It wasn't until a neighbor insisted he come over for coffee that Walter began to feel a shift. That simple conversation led to regular meetings with friends, and as he began engaging with others again, his mood improved. He didn't feel like he had to explain his grief to anyone. Simply being around others, even in small ways, helped him feel less alone in his experience. The key here is to stay connected, even if it's just in small ways. Answering a phone call, taking a short walk with a friend, or attending a support group can help you stay grounded and prevent you from slipping further into loneliness. Reaching out doesn't mean you have to share everything right away, but it can be the first step in making your grief a little easier to bear. Mistake 3. Ignoring your health and well-being when a spouse passes away. Many individuals find themselves so consumed by grief that they neglect their own health. This can manifest in skipping doctor's appointments, neglecting meals, or letting personal routines slide. It's not uncommon for grieving people to feel guilty about taking care of themselves, as though doing so somehow diminishes the love they feel for the person they've lost. However, neglecting your health does not honor the memory of your spouse. It only makes the road ahead more difficult. Grief affects the body in profound ways. Studies show that losing a spouse increases the risk of heart problems, weakened immune function, and even cognitive decline. The stress associated with grief can raise blood pressure, disrupt sleep patterns, and lead to changes in eating habits. Some may lose their appetite entirely, while others may turn to comfort foods that exacerbate emotional distress. Over time, these physical and emotional tolls can significantly affect overall well-being. Take James, for example. After his wife's passing, James stopped cooking for himself, telling himself he simply wasn't hungry. When he did eat, it was usually something quick and processed. Within a few months, he began feeling weaker, more fatigued, and had trouble sleeping. His daughter noticed the changes and gently encouraged him to eat more regularly and maintain a balanced diet. As James made small adjustments, like preparing simple, nutritious meals and drinking more water, his energy levels improved, and he was better equipped to cope with his grief. Self-care during this time isn't just about nutrition. It also involves staying active and looking after your emotional health. Many people who lose a spouse stop exercising, not because they don't want to, but because they no longer have a partner to do it with. However, physical activity, even a short daily walk, has been proven to reduce stress, boost mood, and improve overall health. This period of grief is one where your health is more important than ever. Don't let the overwhelming emotions of loss lead you to neglect your body. Taking care of your health will ultimately make it easier to handle the emotional challenges ahead. It's okay to seek help from a counselor, join a support group, or simply reach out to a trusted friend. Mistake 4. Rushing into a new relationship. The emotional void left after losing a spouse can feel overwhelming, and many individuals find themselves longing for companionship. The loneliness that follows a loss can be one of the hardest parts of grief, and the idea of finding someone new to share their life with might seem like the solution to fill that void. While the desire for connection is perfectly natural, rushing into a new relationship before you have fully processed your grief can lead to more heartache, confusion, and potential regrets. Grief doesn't follow a set timeline, and everyone heals at their own pace. Some may feel ready to date again sooner, while others may take years before they consider a new relationship. When emotions are raw and unresolved, the risk of entering into a relationship for the wrong reasons is high. Many grieving individuals may seek a new partner, not because they are genuinely ready, but because they are trying to replace what was lost or escape the painful emotions they are experiencing. Unfortunately, these relationships often begin with intense emotions, but lack the stability and depth required for long-term success. Take Barbara, for example. Just months after losing her husband of nearly 50 years, she met someone through a friend and quickly entered into a relationship. At first, it seemed like a welcome distraction from the overwhelming loneliness. But as time went on, Barbara realized that she wasn't truly ready for this new chapter. The relationship progressed too quickly, and soon she found herself feeling trapped in something that didn't feel right. She ultimately stepped back and realized that she needed more time to heal before she could fully embrace a new relationship. When you've spent decades with a spouse, the emotional bond, shared memories, and routines are deeply ingrained. Jumping into a new relationship without processing that loss can lead to unrealistic expectations, unfair comparisons, and feelings of guilt. It's essential to take the time you need to heal, rediscover your personal identity, and find peace in being alone before seeking out a new partner. Additionally, it's important to remain cautious and trust your instincts. Unfortunately, there are people who may seek out vulnerable, grieving individuals with the intention of taking advantage of them, emotionally or financially. If someone is pressuring you to commit quickly, make significant decisions, or distance yourself from friends and family, Those are red flags that should not be ignored. New relationships can be fulfilling and meaningful, but they should be entered into from a place of healing, not desperation. Take the time to reflect, reconnect with yourself, and make sure that any future relationship is built on mutual respect and understanding. Mistake 5. Holding on to every possession without letting go. One of the most emotionally challenging aspects of losing a spouse is deciding what to do with their belongings. Every item in the house holds a memory, and the thought of letting go can feel like losing them all over again. Many widows and widowers struggle with this, holding on to every piece of clothing, every personal belonging, and every small item just as it was, fearing that any change means erasing the life they shared. However, while it's completely natural to want to hold on to certain sentimental items, keeping everything can sometimes make the grieving process even more difficult. Holding on to too many possessions can create an emotional barrier to healing. Instead of feeling comforted by their presence, these items can serve as daily reminders of loss, keeping you stuck in the past and making it harder to move forward. A home filled with untouched belongings can feel like a shrine to grief, preventing you from embracing a new chapter in your life. Take Harold's experience, for example. After his wife of 55 years passed away, Harold couldn't bring himself to move any of her things. Her shoes remained by the door, her clothes stayed in the closet, and her favorite chair was left untouched. At first, it felt like a way of keeping her close, but over time, Harold began to feel trapped by the physical reminders of her absence. He wasn't ready to part with everything, but as he gradually started donating some items and keeping only a few meaningful ones, he felt a sense of relief. It wasn't about forgetting his wife. It was about creating space for his own healing. Letting go of possessions doesn't mean erasing the memory of your spouse. It means allowing room for growth and change. Start small by choosing a few keepsakes that hold deep meaning, like a favorite piece of jewelry, a photo, or a handwritten note. As time passes, you may feel ready to go through other belongings, deciding what truly holds value and what is simply taking up emotional space. Another common mistake is feeling pressured by others to clear out your spouse's belongings before you're ready. While friends and family may mean well, the decision to move on from these possessions should be entirely yours. Don't let others rush you into letting go before you are emotionally prepared. For some people, finding ways to repurpose sentimental items can offer comfort. Turning a spouse's old shirt into a quilt, creating a memory book with cherished letters, or passing down meaningful items to loved ones who will appreciate them can be ways to honor your spouse while still moving forward. Ultimately, grief is not about the things you hold on to. It's about the love, memories, and bond you shared. Letting go of possessions in small, thoughtful ways isn't a sign of forgetting. It's a step toward honoring your spouse's memory while also allowing space for your own healing and growth. Losing a spouse is one of life's most difficult transitions. It changes everything: the way you live, how you think, and even how you see the future. But it's essential to remember that every decision you make during this time can either help or hinder your healing. That's why saying no to these 5 things, rushing into financial decisions, isolating yourself, neglecting your health, jumping into a new relationship too soon, and holding on to every possession can make a profound difference in your ability to heal and move forward with clarity and strength. Grief doesn't follow a schedule, and there is no right way to process it. But avoiding these common mistakes can help you navigate this painful chapter in a way that protects both your heart and your future. Healing doesn't mean forgetting, and moving forward doesn't mean leaving your spouse behind. It simply means honoring their memory while continuing to live with purpose, peace, and even joy in the moments ahead.